jot down a few more things. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back to Breathe the Same Air. My name is Lauren, and thanks for coming back. Or if this is your first episode, first episode when you're listening to, thanks for being here. I'm happy you're here. I hope you're happy you're here. And I want to start off by going through my week a little bit. Nothing extravagant has happened, but I wanted to tell you that I always try to remind you guys that we're going through this process together. Like, this podcast is meant to be me growing, you growing, and eventually along the way meeting other people and hoping that they grow. Going through everyone's lives, seeing what makes everyone different, what makes everyone tick, what makes everyone who they are, and we're doing it together as one. Yeah, so I didn't do anything too special this week, but I did have a really good week in planning. I made sure that I wrote down what I wanted to do. Yesterday, I went to the gym. I had a really good workout. I almost threw up, but that meant like a good workout for me. And then I came home. I did a lot of laundry. I cleaned my room with Patrick. If you're listening, please be proud of me, because it took a long time. And then I went and hung out with my friend Haley, and we took pictures, saw sunset for the first time in a long time. And if you know me, sunset is like top favorite thing in the world. I could watch a sun. But I really, like, to put in perspective, sunset, beach, everything is just like, I love it. So I had an awesome time doing that yesterday. And then the days leading up before that, I had a really good conversation with someone really important in my life that needed to happen. And I took my walks that I love doing. And on these walks, I get a lot of ideas. And the other day I was on a walk, and I was like, I live in Florida, so gators are pretty common. And I was walking, and I was like, oh shit, that looks like a gator in the lake. And I was like, oh, well, hey gator. And so I keep walking, and I'm like, maybe it's not. But I was pretty sure it was, because it's common. And I was like, wait a second, it's not a gator, that's just a pipe and a rock. And I was like, wait a minute. I was just looking at it from a different point of view. Duh. If I would have looked at it head on from the beginning, I would have known that it was clearly a pipe and a rock and not Mr. Gator about to tell me hello. But it got me thinking for the rest of my walk, like, how many other things that we look at from a different point of view versus what they actually are. And so this episode is going to be all about perspective, as you could probably tell from the title. But the whole reason I wanted to talk about it was from that walk that I had it was actually a couple weeks ago. I had this idea for a little bit, but I wanted to find things and, take a few more notes before actually doing this episode, because I wanted it to be done well. And because I think that this is such an extensive topic, I probably won't fit it into one episode, because putting things in perspective and looking at things from someone else's point of view versus just your point of view all the time is not a small topic. It's something that I think should be talked about more, and that people should realize more, and I think everyone should just work on it. So that's what we're going to do today. Before I start the episode, if you guys are feeling generous and loving, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like, leave a comment. If you're on Apple Podcast, leave a review, leave a rating. If you're on Spotify, quick follow, like button goes a long way. I never thought I would turn into one of those people. I'd always watch YouTube videos, and it was like, and before the video starts, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a review. Like, I never thought I was going to be one of those people. But here I am. Also, the sweatshirt's like the exact same color of my blanket. That's fun. I'm really cozy today because I wanted us to feel like a little fam. For everyone to feel welcomed right now. Do you feel welcomed? Good. I also want you to take this time before the episode starts to go ahead and grab a water bottle, your hydro flask, a cup of water. Go ahead and do that. I'll give you a second. Okay. All right. Let's jump in. So one of the first things that, remember last episode, if you were here, I have my book of happy, and I went over a few things in it to try to find things relating to this episode and perspective. And this one, I wanted to give you guys this quote real quick. And it's not so much about perspective, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, it always relates back to it. So this quote is by Didinsky. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The key to being happy is knowing you have the power to choose what to accept and what to let go. Basically, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you are the person in charge of your life. You are in charge of what you choose to let bother you, what you choose to let affect you for longer than 5 minutes, and what you choose to make of your life, your day, your being, your human, what you choose to make of you. And as much as it doesn't say anything about perspective, but I think that if you look at the big picture, it's you being in charge of being happy, and it's how you look at life, which is perspective. It's how you handle a situation. It's how you look at a situation. Do you step back or do you step in? Do you look at it from someone else's point of view, or do you just stand from where you are firm with your belief, your view, and you don't change it no matter what? Looking at the big picture is important, but it's not the main thing. So one of the first things that I wanted to talk about is with the gator and the pipe and the rock. A situation can look different from one point of view versus from another. And I feel like that's obvious, like, duh, like, I'm just looking from another person's point of view. Let me put it this way. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you thought you knew all the facts, but you probably really only knew one? You've probably been in that situation. I've been in that situation a few times in my prime, and it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks thinking that you know everything, but then you don't. Or not even in a bad way, like, oh, I fucking know it all. No, I mean, like, you find out about a situation and you thought that you knew everything about it, but then you find out more and your perspective changes, your mindset changes. It's not how you looked at it before. There's a difference between taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, but also taking a closer look and dissecting it a little bit. I keep saying dissecting, like there's a frog here or something, but analyzing. That's a better word. We're not in biology. Thank God. But there's a difference between thinking one thing and knowing the other. That's important. There's a difference between thinking one thing and knowing another, and then making up your mind. Not someone telling you something, you finding it out for yourself. You think that a ladybug looks like a ladybug on the ground, and you take a closer look and it's just like 3 ants huddled together. Or you take a step back. Maybe you were closer and it was like, oh, it looks like there's 3 ants huddling together, and you take a step back and you realize that there's actually a ton of ants together making a little line. It's all about the bigger picture. Pay attention to the bigger picture. I know that kind of went from one thing to the other, but guys, you really only know so much. As much as a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this a lot as well, as much as all of us think that we know everything and that we have the answer to all, we don't. I'm sorry, but we don't. And like I said, everything this podcast is us going through stuff together. I am more than guilty of thinking that I know everything, that I know everything about the situation, that I'm right, they're wrong. That is just not the case, Lauren. As much as you would like it to be, that is not the case. And I know that now. But here I am, 20 years old, thinking that I knew everything. And as I take a step back from certain situations, I look at a person and I look at who they are, whether they, like if someone is being rude to you or someone is talking badly about you, in your mind, you're automatically taking this closer look and being like, why are they saying this about me? This isn't true. Why do they not like me? What's wrong with this person? Like, what do they get out of talking about me? But then you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture and you realize that they're unhappy with themselves. They're saying these things about you and they're going about this. The reason they are, because they're upset with something in their lives. Negative people act negatively to other people. Or let me say it in a better way. Negative people have something negative going on in their lives. Therefore, they project negativity. There you go. Negative people project negativity. There's something bigger going on in their lives, so they think that they have to bring everyone else down, whether they know they're doing it or not. I've had my fair share of girls and guys who have something difficult going on at home, or maybe they have another friend who's treating them negatively. And so in turn, they go to their other friends or they go to strangers or just project negativity in general and might not even know they're doing it, but they're doing it from a place of hurt. They have been hurt themselves, so they project it onto other people. Is it right? No. Should someone sit down and have a talk with them? Yeah, probably. Should they listen to this podcast? Duh. But if you've ever found yourself in that position, whether you're the person projecting the negativity or you're the one receiving the negativity, have you taken that step back? Let's dive into that a little bit more. Say you're the one projecting the negativity. Like I said, you probably don't even know that you are. I've been guilty of projecting the negativity and I didn't know that I was until someone told me. Like, hey, you're kind of being an ass right now. And I was like, oh shit, well, my friend just really pissed me off a couple minutes ago. I didn't mean to do it, you know? Something like that. I've been more than guilty of it in high school. And I only had a handful of friends that I really trusted or wanted to be around. And they would be the ones to tell me or ask what's going on. Because there's a difference between being mean and being hurt. Because there can be someone who is hurting so much. You guys have heard the phrase, hurt people. It's not, like, as much as it is kind of like a blind statement, it also is so true. It makes so much sense when you look at the full thing and you compare it to other people that you know. Like, diving at a girl's self-esteem usually stems from another girl's self-esteem. Like, if you're the one going after someone on their looks, you clearly have an issue with yourself. I've also been guilty of that one, on the receiving end and the giving end. Again, we've all come a long way. I know for sure, like, damn well, in high school, I mean, honestly, I've never been satisfied with my body. And I'm working on it. That's a whole nother topic. But in high school, I wouldn't say it to the girl, but I would do it in my head, or I would do it to my friends, and that's not cool. And it's because I was hurting myself. Mentally and, like, not physically, but, like, if I would tell, like, we were out and I would tell my friend, like, oh my god, look at her ankles. Like, what the fuck, Lauren? Why do you have to be a bitch? Like, and it's because I was hurting my own. I wasn't happy with my stomach or my chin or my neck or my arms. Like, there was something that I was insecure about myself and I would project it onto other people, and that's not right. And again, guys, it took someone to tell me it took someone to ask me what's wrong. Like the girl looks perfectly fine. Why are you saying that? Because I had issues with myself. Everyone has issues with their self. And again, guys, it's all about taking a step back and focusing on your issues before you project them onto someone else. And once you've taken that step back and you realize what's wrong, then you take a step closer again and you fix the situation. I knew that the reason that I was not being the kindest, even, I wouldn't say it to them, but if I wasn't being the kindest in my head, or I was talking shit to my friend, it was because I had an issue with myself, and I knew that full well. So that's when I started going to the gym more, and I started taking care of my body more, and it helps. I said in a few episodes back, not every problem has a solution, but ones like that do. Ones like this do. If you are projecting your issues onto someone else, there's a problem. There's a problem there, and there is a solution to fix it. And it might not be as hard to figure out as you think. Put into perspective. And it doesn't even have to just be talking about someone. That was an example that I felt like should be said, because I know that everyone listening to this is guilty of that. I have met some of the nicest people in my life that listen to this podcast, but I know damn well you guys are all guilty of it. And future listeners, like, we're humans. We're gonna fuck up. We just are. No one's perfect. I play that song by Miley Cyrus at least once Hannah Montana. At least once a week. It honestly helps. But you guys only know so much about someone's situation. And honestly, sometimes it's not even your problem to know more. You don't need to. But that's a whole other perspective problem. We only know so much. And whether you try to take a closer look and you get blocked off because you can't get any closer because that person doesn't want you to, then you stand back and you leave it alone. It's not your problem anymore. Or if maybe there's something going on at work and you only know so much, and then you find out more information, you take a step back and you watch, you listen, you learn, and then you've seen the bigger picture. You haven't seen it from just your point of view, you've seen it from everyone else's. You find a new perspective, you find a problem and hopefully find a solution, and sometimes you can't, and you can't force it, you can't force a solution. Sometimes you just have to let it be as it is. Let it be. You guys can only do so much. And if you're taking the energy to take a step back and analyze a situation, or help a friend, or help yourself, and then you take a closer look to find a solution to the problem or whatever is going on, whatever the situation may be, you're already working hard. You're doing all that you can, and at that point you can't do anymore. And that's okay. You've done everything you can. You've looked at it from another person's point of view. You've looked at the bigger picture. You've taken a closer look. Hats off, man. Go you. Go you, girl. I just, guys, there's so much that you don't know about someone else, and there's so much that you don't even know about yourself yet, maybe. Like I said, sometimes, like, hurt people, and you might not even know that you're hurting, or you don't want to acknowledge it yet. But once you do notice, and I hope you do it early if you're hurting someone else, which this whole episode isn't meant to be about, like, you being a dick to someone. It's meant to look at a bigger picture and put what's happening into perspective. How you handle a situation says a lot. Are you handling it from your point of view or someone else's, or both? Ask yourself that. I want everyone right now to kind of think of something going on in their lives. Think of a situation that's going on. Have you heard of someone recently talking about you? Have you been offered a job? Did school just start and you're kind of stressing? Did you find something out that maybe you didn't want to? Did you have to have a rough conversation with someone you really care about? Think about it for a second and tune back in. Welcome back. Now, take that situation and stop looking at it from your point of view. Look at it from your friend's point of view, from your boss's point of view, from the other person's point of view. Or you know what? Look at it from a third person's. Look at it from the outside looking in. Don't look at it from the other person's point of view. Don't look at it from yours. Look at it as if you're watching it in a show, watching it play out. What would you be thinking right now? And I know automatically I'd be like, oh, I'm taking that girl's side, like my own. That's not the point of this exercise. You take a step back and you look at it from an audience's point of view and think about how you would take the situation. How would you handle it if it was up to just you? You're reading the book, you're reading the credits, you got everything right there. How are you thinking about this situation? A book, a movie, a play, a song, literally anything. You're listening to it, reading it, hearing it from another point of view. How would you take it? Think about that. And again, it's not all about you. But like, if you're looking at it from a third person, then again, like I said before, you're doing more than you were before. You're working harder. And, you know, as much as I'd like for every single scenario for me to look back on and have it be a rom-com, it's not going to be every time. Not every situation is the proposal or 50 First Dates. And that sucks. Sometimes it's going to be The Equalizer or John Wick. It's, you know, guys, that's how I know how to make references is to movies. So, if you've taken a step back and you've looked at your situation from another person's point of view, done. Step 1. If you've taken a step back, looked at it from another person's point of view, tried to figure out a solution, step 2. If you realize that there's no solution and you just kind of have to let it go, let it go. Let it go. And moving on from just, like, other people, focus on yourself a little bit more. Worry about you, sunshine. You told yourself that you're going to start going to the gym more. You told yourself you're going to start reading more, journaling more, waking up early. And you're not doing all of those things. Who's to blame? No one but yourself. Obviously. But like I said, go put it into a third person's point of view again. Would they be able to see that you're trying? Would they be able to see that it's harder than you thought it would be? And that you need to do it just one step at a time? Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Think about that. Like I said, you take a step back, analyze the entire situation from a bigger picture, and then take a step closer again. And see if you can see something else. Everything is about perspective, guys. It's not as little as we think it is. It never is. The situation, and as much as I'd like to say, you know, you're just one person. It's really not as big of a deal as you think. But you're the only you. If it's a big deal to you, then it's a big fucking deal. And it's allowed to be. Don't let anyone diminish or belittle how you feel about something. I've had friends do that. Like, it's really not that big of a fucking deal. If it's a big deal to you, then it's a big deal to you. And that's it. That's it. Period. So then from that point on, you handle it how you need to. If you need to take a step away from a person, or you need to take a step away from yourself and look at how you're acting, that's what you do. You let the situation be as big or small as it needs to be, and then you handle it to make it smaller or bigger. Don't make it bigger usually. Diminish the situation by taking a step back and then taking a step forward. Again, I always repeat these things, guys, because it's not just you who needs to hear them, it's me too. We're all in this together. I'm going to say that every episode, all the time. And now I want to read you a page. Is this going to be copyright? I hope not. I'm going to read you a page out of the Book of Happy. And the title is Be Grateful for All You Have. Like I said, sometimes you guys just need to take a step back, look at what you have, look at what the other person has. Again, you might not know everything. Let me just read this. It'll all make sense. Make gratitude a guiding principle of your life. Start by practicing mindfulness in the present moment. Let your senses of sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch, and your intuition inform you of the great power and blessing inherent in a single moment. Absorbed, you let go of doing and come into being. Joy rises spontaneously in you, but because you are so focused, you might not realize how happy and satisfied you feel. Even more marvelous is that you lose your sense of individuality and worries fall away. To be able to practice mindfulness is itself a gift. The ancient practice can lead you to appreciate the interconnectedness of all of life and a desire to acknowledge all the goodness that exists in every single moment. In turn, such feelings of gratitude of how you are blessed can trigger a desire to help others find happiness. Try using a small stone with the word gratitude printed on it as a touchstone to remind you to use positive language and say thank you often. Carry it in your pocket so that throughout the day, when you ever touch it, you can be reminded of how seeds of gratitude grow. Beautiful. This book is beautiful. I feel like as I read it, the first time I read it, I was like, I really want to put it in this episode. But the more I do read it and reading it again, guys, I feel like I can't even, there's nothing to explain. Yes, it's about gratitude, but it's all about looking at what you have. What you have is great. Look at you as a person. God, again, to be able to practice mindfulness in itself is a gift. The ancient practice can lead you to appreciate the interconnectedness of all of life and desire to acknowledge all the goodness that starts in every single moment. Take a look at what's going on. Take a step back and acknowledge what's going on around you, how beautiful you have it, and how lucky you are. How you have... Guys, it's important to be grateful for the little things that you have that someone else might not. Put in perspective what you have versus what someone else doesn't. And I know that sometimes it can be hard, but guys, life is hard. I really like this quote too. Joy rises spontaneously in you, but because you are so focused, you might not realize how happy and satisfied you feel. It's because you're focusing on other things. You're focusing on someone else's perspective of a situation versus focusing on yourself. Focus on joy, focus on love, focus on happy. And I know that you can't do that all the time, guys, but it's something that should be more worked on and talked about, and something that you work to feel satisfied with yourself versus staying back and looking at a situation that makes you upset or unhappy. Guys, I know that this episode was kind of all over the place, but at the same time, I feel like it wasn't. I know I kind of repeated myself a lot, but I think that it was also useful. As the Beatles once said, come together right now. Take a step back and look at every situation or everything that's bothering you in life right now. Why is it bothering you? Is there any way that you can fix it? Is there anyone in your life that's making you feel the way that you do? And once you figure that out from a bigger picture and from taking a step back, take a closer look and realize how you can fix it, or how you can look at it from someone else's point of view. Put it in perspective. Put the situation in perspective. Put yourself in perspective. Look at it from someone else's. Look at it from a different point of view. Look at your life as if it's a movie, a book, or anything that you feel like it. Because your life is a movie and you're the main character. And I believe that everyone should have that mindset. Someone that pisses you off is an antagonist. Someone that's helping you is your partner. You can even think of them as your little side character talking animal who sings. I don't fucking know. Like, I say that all the time. You're the main character of your movie. You are the indicator of what's gonna happen. You control how your life goes. Maybe you can't control what shifts you get this week, or, what day the next season of your show comes out, but you know what I'm talking about. Think about how good you may have it versus someone else. Think about who you are as a person. Are you happy with your actions? Take a step back and look at your actions. If you need to compare them to someone else's, compare them to someone else's. How are their actions affecting you? Try to think about maybe why their actions are like this. Hurt people hurt people. I think I'm going to do another episode about perspective, guys. And I did take a little bit of time to make this one because I wanted it to be done well. And like I said, I definitely repeated myself a lot, but I got the point across that I wanted to. Your point of view, the fact that you only know so much, how you're going to handle a situation, looking at someone else's point of view and their perspective, taking your step back and taking your step back in. I hope that you guys got something out of this episode, because I know I did while reading that and while talking to you guys on this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Not a great way to finish, Lauren, but I'm going to further the perspective talk later. Probably not next week or the week before. I think I'm definitely going to do a little bit more looking, like I'm going to look for more writings, more pieces, more ways that I can compare them to you guys so that you can relate a little bit more versus just comparing my life. But you guys deserve the best, and I'm going to give it to you. And I want you all to know that I am working hard for you. And for myself, I've really enjoyed doing this, guys. I can't believe that this is the 5th episode. Go us. Hooray. Anyways, guys, follow the Instagram, Breathe the Same Air Podcast. Follow the TikTok. I made a TikTok. The TikTok and the Instagram are both Breathe the Same Air Podcast. You can now watch me and listen on YouTube of Breathe the Same Air Podcast. And guys, I just hope that you have a great rest of your day. Happy Friday. Happy whatever day you listen to this on. And I hope that you're smiling and having a great day and laugh and love. And remember that we all breathe the same air. Bye, guys.